Yeah. It's been researched, studied, shot over and over again to make sure it has the ingredients that I want for you. Now I'm going to give you a lesson here right now that if you listen and you follow the instruction, you will be a much, much better player. Much better player. But it's not going to happen overnight. I'm going to be honest with you. When I first uncovered this system, I knew I had the mother lode. I knew I had what I was looking for. And I thought, well, this is going to put me right straight over the top. But I'd already been through the program, and now I'm adding this to my repertoire. But I found out, as friend to friend, me to you, it took me over a year to get it implemented into my approach to shooting. So it's not something you just do overnight. It's a science. It's an art. We're going to work off this model right here. Going to shoot the 1, 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. And then I'm going to explain to you some principles as we work through this model. Now this is a model I would like you to set on your table and master it. As you can see, the one ball has a slight angle. Your cue ball is up here near the side pocket, and the one ball is about 3 feet away, and there's a slight angle. You've got the pattern, and I'll tell you something, friend to friend. You do this pattern, you do this before a match or before a tournament, and you will be in dead stroke, because that's what it takes, dead stroke, to succeed with this pattern. Now, doing this pattern is one thing. I want to teach you a system of shooting. When I look at this one ball, I know I have to stun it. I have to stun it to here and come out to here to get a good shot on the 2. Now, the stun makes it a more difficult shot, but that doesn't matter, that's what I have. That's what my right brain is telling me, to deliver a stun stroke. So I need to engage that right brain. I need to get that right brain involved in the execution of my stroke. And the way I do that is through breathing. And the opening breath is mouth to mouth. I stand here in front of the one ball and I breathe into my mouth and out through my mouth. That engages the brain. See, I don't want to shoot this with my mind, because I'm going to think about how hard of a shot it is. I'm going to think about how important it is. I'm going to think about this is the shot that starts my run. I think about all kinds of things that are irrelevant. That's what the mind does. The mind debates and argues and evaluates. The brain looks at facts. So we want to incorporate the brain into our shooting. We don't want to shoot with our mind anymore. And you know, I studied Willie Mosconi for a long time. Studied him very close. I talked to him many times back in the 90s in New York when I go down there. He took less time on easy shots than he did on hard shots. And so the reason I tell you that is because the monk sequence of breathing, which isn't really something I designed, it comes from the Zen archers. They teach breathing to their students so they can deliver the perfect stroke. Sniper school does the same thing, teach breathing so they can deliver the shot on target at the right time. You see, a sniper aims at a person's head. Now he knows that head's going to explode. He knows that man's going to die. He knows that the man may have a wife or children. But he doesn't think about any of that. There are 4 steps in the Monk 101 sequence of breathing. Master them. Mouth, mouth to begin. What I'm doing is I'm connecting to the shot. I'm looking at the 1 and I'm feeling exactly what I need to do. This is the connection part of the monk sequence. You must always connect to the shot you're going to shoot. I connect. Now, if you were to come up and talk to me while I'm connecting, I'd have to start all over again. Because once I start to connect to that shot, the shot is on. Okay? So, mouth. Now I'm centered. My stance is centered, I'm centered, and I'm ready to go. I land on the cue ball, and I place my Q-tip where I want to hit the one. At that time, I breathe in through my mouth and out through my nose. In through my mouth, out through my nose. Now the purpose of that mouth-nose breath, I want you to get this, is to line up the left side of your body, your bridge hand. Now I have found that when I've gone down and I've done my mouth-nose, I was alerted to the fact by my brain that my left hand was not right. So I got up, reset myself, did the same thing, and it was okay. Now there have been times back in the old days when I had some very serious bad habits. One of them was when I kind of knew I was offline, I'd shoot it anyways. And then to make matters worse, I would look at my opponent and I'd say, I knew I was going to miss that shot. I knew it. If he wanted to insult me, he would have said, well, why in the hell did you shoot it? But he didn't have to, because I asked myself that too. Why did I shoot it if I knew I was going to miss it? Hope that hasn't happened to you. Okay? So, you know, if you take the time to line up, really line up, you're not going to miss. And that's what happened to me once I mastered this program. Now, the third thing I do is I look up. When I look up on that third point, that's nose, what I'm doing then is I am aiming at what I had connected to. Up here, I'm connecting. I'm not aiming. I'm not aiming at any target. I'm connecting to it. But down here, in that third breath, I am aiming at it. And this was one that I saw on the third breath. That's why it was a shorter time period. There's a fourth breath, and that is nose, mouth. When you do the nose-mouth breath, you are activating the right side of your body. Your shooting arm, your arm, your shooting arm. Now I've got a little bit of work to do here because I came out 2 inches too far. But let's see what we got. Okay, I'm going to try to use a follow stroke with outside English. That makes this shot very hard. Got it. Very good. Now you'll notice I took extra time there. Willie Mosconi on his hard shots took extra time. I did the fourth breath. I did the one that activates my right hand. And the reason for that is my English, I'm going to hit right here, but I wanted to spin over there. So I had to take a little extra time to really feel that spin and get that stroke right. Now I'm going to move you down the other end so you can see it from that perspective. Now you see I don't have a big angle, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem. I'm going to have to make the 3 and go straight up the table. I wanted to get more centered and so I could go around the 4, but going straight up and down is not the end of the world, and it's the only thing I have. So you know, when I say I wanted a different shot, that's the mind talking. The brain says this is what you have. It's not bad, you can do it, just get to the center of the table. So I'm going to activate the brain and get that mind talk out of there. Another thing that I use is I say this is a make and take. So I'm just going to make it and take what I get. so that's what I got. And that's not the end of the world. I need to get over there for the 5-ball. And in that particular instance, I only did the shorter version of that. For some reason, I saw the shot real well at the nose, the third segment, and so I shot it. Okay, that's worked. That worked out pretty good. I'm going to move you down the other end because I'm going to be stepping on you. Okay, make up your mind you are going to master the monk shot sequence. Now, when you make up your mind that you'll master it, you're looking at a year, maybe even more. It took me a good solid year before I could do it on a continuous basis. I still screw up sometimes because my habits have been so ingrained, but it took me a year. And in that year, there were a lot of disappointments. There were a lot of critical missed shots because I was focusing on breathing. And so I could have easily said, well, the breathing cost me that. But like a martial arts student who wants to get his black belt, you see it through. You won't get your black belt if you don't see it through. And there's a lot of disappointment, a lot of setbacks, obstacles get in the way. You see it through and get your black belt. So that's what I did. I saw it through. And I had done the grand final exam when I graduated for the second time. The first time I couldn't do it, so I went through the whole program again, 4 years, and did the grand final exam. And I can tell you, I was able to succeed with the grand final exam, which is a series of tests that basically only a pro could do. I succeeded because of the breathing. I took everything out of it and did the breathing on each shot and did the whole thing again. So I passed it a few times. One of the bad habits we have is we shoot shots based on past experience. My past experience with this 5-ball has not been real good. I miss it. I don't know why, but I do. So if I get up there behind that cue ball and I say to myself, man, just don't miss this like you did the last one, then I've just taken something away from my ability to stroke the cue ball. Past shot does not exist. And that's why if I can activate the brain, the past shot won't have any effect on me. See, that's what causes us to miss shots. We remember the disappointment of missing and losing from past shots. We've got to get that out of our mind, and the way you do that is you don't shoot with your mind, shoot with your brain. I didn't miss that shot. It's the morning time here, and there's a little glare off the camera, and it kind of disrupted my focus, so I just moved you over a little bit, so it's not there now. Okay, I did a longer version there. I went through all 4 sequences of the breath. I breathed mouth to establish my stance, to solidify my balance. I did mouth-nose to solidify the left side of my body. I did nose-nose to aim. Wow, that's a powerful thing. When you do that, you're going to experience something powerful. You're going to say, man, I'm not going to miss this shot. I'm going to make this shot. Then, on this one, I did nose-mouth. And that was to activate my right side, my stroke. And man, it felt good. See, I didn't see it on the nose-nose. I didn't see the shot real well. I wasn't confident. But when I did the 4th one, I was confident. I had my arm going right, everything going right. And so I delivered the stroke. Those 4 points of breath are the monk sequence. Now I call them the monk sequence, but you know, that's Buddhist breathing. The art of breathing is thousands of years old. It isn't something I invented. something I discovered. If you were to come over here to the Philippines and enter one of those Academy of Archery, you would be given a bow. And they would ask you to pull that bow back. Let it go. Pull the bow back. Let it go. Pull the bow back. Now, you got to be serious about wanting to be a master archer, because the instructor is going to have you pull the bow back for 3 to 6 months before he gives you an arrow. And think about this. If he gives you an arrow too soon, you're going to think about the arrow. You're going to think about the target. You're going to think about success or failure. You're not going to think about pulling the bow back. He wants you to be so ingrained pulling the bow back that he won't give you an arrow until you're ready. Some students take 6 months. Seriously. The whole art of archery is pulling the bow back. That is it. If you don't master that part, you don't master the sport. You don't master the art of archery. Same thing with the stroke. Pulling the cue back, coming forward. Pulling back, coming forward. If you don't master that, you're going to be subject to all kinds of bad things, chaotic things, throughout your whole career. See, the pros, billiard pros, like Ronnie Elcano and Efren Reyes, have mastered the art of pulling that bow back. Now, I have a 21-day training program where you will master that art. And see, when you master that art, all bad habits that you have experienced disappear. Because now, all you're doing is pulling the cue back, pulling the bow back. Now that 21 days would be one of the best investments you would ever make in yourself. 21 days, and it's only $3,000. So that's just a little over $100 a night, because I give you lodging free and food free. You just come over here and we work in this room for 21 days, and we get that cue coming straight back, straight forward. And the only thing that matters, straight back, straight forward. That's all that matters. So any bad habits you have are gone. Get on my website. Join my website. It's $30. Build the skills. You're going to need skills. This pattern is not an easy pattern. Not an easy pattern at all, and you're going to find that out. In fact, you're going to fail in this pattern over and over and over again for a long time. You know, it's going to be tough. Tough to get all 5 balls. And if it is, join the website. Build your skills. If you can't do it, build the skills to enable you to succeed. I am going to look for you in the finals. I'm so excited about having you in the Monk family. I'm really excited about it. And I'm going to look for you in the finals.